There is a scene from one of the greatest television shows ever made where a man looks at his wife and says, "I am not in danger. I am the danger." And when I first heard that line years ago, it hit me in a way I could not explain because deep down, I knew I was living the opposite life. I was the one constantly looking over my shoulder, constantly worried about what others thought, constantly afraid of confrontation, afraid of failure, afraid of being seen as weak. And if you clicked on this video right now, I already know something about you. You are tired of being the person who feels fear, while everyone else seems to move through life like nothing can touch them. You are exhausted from that knot in your stomach before difficult conversations, from that voice in your head telling you that you are not enough, from watching other people command rooms while you shrink into corners, hoping nobody notices you. And here is the thing that terrifies me about your situation. Every single day you spend living in fear is a day you are programming your brain to accept fear as your default state. And if you scroll away from this video thinking you will figure this out someday, I need you to understand that someday is the most dangerous word in the human language because someday never comes for people who keep postponing their transformation. So if you are ready to understand what it actually means to become the danger, to flip the script on your entire existence, stay with me, because this is not motivational fluff. This is the psychological architecture of fearlessness that nobody talks about. The first thing you need to understand is that fear and danger exist on the same spectrum, and right now you are on the wrong end of it. Let me explain what I mean. In every interaction between two humans, there is an unconscious calculation happening. Both people are assessing who has more power, who is more willing to walk away, who needs the other person more, and whoever is perceived as more dangerous, not physically dangerous but psychologically dangerous, meaning unpredictable, uncontrollable, unshakeable, that person automatically commands respect. This is not something I invented. This is evolutionary psychology. Our ancestors survived by quickly identifying threats, and that same wiring exists in every person you meet today. So when you walk into a room radiating anxiety, apologizing for existing, seeking approval from everyone, you are broadcasting weakness on a frequency that every human can detect. But when you enter that same room with calm intensity, with the energy of someone who genuinely does not need anything from anyone in that room, everything shifts. The second principle is what I call the death of your former self. And this sounds dramatic, but it is the most practical thing I will share with you today. But when you enter that same room with calm intensity, with the energy of someone who genuinely does not need anything from anyone in that room, everything shifts. The second principle is what I call the death of your former self. And this sounds dramatic, but it is the most practical thing I will share with you today. You cannot become fearless while still clinging to the identity of someone who is afraid. Read that again in your mind. You cannot become fearless while still clinging to the identity of someone who is afraid. Most people try to add confidence on top of their fearful identity. They learn techniques, they practice power poses, they repeat affirmations, but underneath all of that, they still see themselves as someone who is fundamentally scared. And this is why nothing works for them. Real transformation requires you to kill the old version of yourself, not metaphorically, but psychologically. You have to reach a point where you look at your past self and see a stranger, someone you used to be but no longer are. And this happens through what I call identity level decisions. These are decisions so significant that they fundamentally alter who you are, like deciding you will never again tolerate disrespect, deciding you will speak your truth even when your voice shakes, deciding you would rather be alone than surrounded by people who make you feel small. These decisions rewire your brain because they force you to act against your old programming. Now here is something interesting. If you have made it this far into the video, you are already different from 90% of people who clicked. Most people have already scrolled away looking for something easier, something that requires less from them, but you are still here, which tells me you actually want change. And people like you, people who stick with difficult content, who lean into discomfort, you are exactly who this channel is built for. So if you are finding value in this, I just want you to know that there is so much more depth where this came from. The third principle is mastering the art of controlled aggression, and I need to be very careful with how I explain this, because it is often misunderstood. I am not talking about violence. I am not talking about being cruel or intimidating people. I am talking about having access to your aggression. Most people, especially those who grew up being told to be nice, to not cause trouble, to keep the peace, they have completely disconnected from their aggressive energy, and this makes them fundamentally incomplete as human beings. Aggression is a survival mechanism. It is what allows you to protect yourself, to enforce boundaries, to compete, to assert your will in the world. And when you cut yourself off from it, you become what psychologists call pathologically agreeable. You say yes when you mean no. You smile when you are angry. You accommodate when you should resist, and people can sense this. They can feel that you have no teeth, that you are not capable of fighting back. Becoming dangerous means reconnecting with your aggressive energy, but learning to control it, to deploy it strategically, to let people see glimpses of it without losing yourself to it. Think of it like a weapon you carry but rarely use. Its power comes from the fact that it exists. If you need the relationship, your partner has power over you. If you need approval, literally everyone has power over you. But when you genuinely reach a place where you want things but do not need them, where you can walk away from anything, because your sense of self is not dependent on external results, you become truly dangerous because you become uncontrollable. Think about the most fearless people in history. They all shared one quality. They were willing to lose everything, and that willingness made them unstoppable, because you cannot threaten someone who has already accepted the worst possible outcome. The fifth principle is physical transformation, and I know some people will resist this, but I will say it anyway. Your body and your psychology are not separate. They are one system. When you are physically weak, when you have never tested yourself, when you avoid discomfort, your brain knows this and it adjusts your confidence accordingly. You cannot trick your subconscious into believing you are dangerous if every experience you have proves otherwise. But when you start training your body, when you learn to take hits, when you build strength, when you prove to yourself that you can endure pain and keep going, something fundamental shifts in how you carry yourself. This is not about looking impressive for others. This is about knowing in your bones what you are capable of. Here is what I need you to understand as we finish this conversation, and I am calling it a conversation because that is what this is. I am not lecturing you. I am talking to you like I wish someone had talked to me years ago. When I was paralyzed by fear, living a small life because I was terrified of taking up space, the person you are today is not the person you have to be tomorrow, but the gap between those two people is not crossed through wishing. It is crossed through decision and action. Right now in this moment you have a choice. You can close this video and go back to the same patterns, the same fear, the same smallness, and nobody will judge you for it. Most people choose comfort over growth, but there is another option. You can decide right now that you are done being the person who is afraid, done being the background character in your own life, done letting other people's opinions control your behavior. You can decide that starting today, you are the danger, not in a way that hurts others, but in a way that means you will never again betray yourself. You will never again shrink to make others comfortable. You will never again live below your potential because you are scared of what might happen. If you actually tried, the world does not give respect to people who ask for it. The world gives respect to people who claim it. So claim it. Become the person others think twice about crossing. Become the person who walks into rooms and changes the energy. Become the person you were always meant to be before fear convinced you to play small. The choice is yours, but you need to make it now, because tomorrow you will have a new excuse, and next week an even better one. And next year you will be watching another video just like this, wondering why nothing has changed. So do not let that be your story. Decide now, act now, become the danger now. Become the